Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Five Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network, as well as the YouTube channel. We are back here this week after a kinda week off last one. If you listen to us on the MP3 only version, which was a compilation of a lot of the 5 star and Dream Star reviews that are on the YouTube channel, I greatly appreciate it. I also featured my top 5 matches over on that as well from the 5 star Grand Prix. So now that we're 2 weekends into the Dream Star, we are nearing the end of the 5 star. I'm going to include my top 5 for the 5 star here today to kick off our show before we break down everything else going on in the 5 star right after. I'll also include my top 3 from the Dream Star Grand Prix thus far as well. So stay tuned for all that. We'll also be talking Marvelous, TJPW, Oz Academy, and so much more. Plenty on this week's episode to keep you interested, even if you're watching one tournament or the other. You know, I know from firsthand experience, it's been tiring, it's been long, but hey, that's why I'm here to fill you in on everything you need to know in the world of Joshi. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you for all the continued support that I've received on the reviews. It's meant the world to me. It's been a long week. It's a long week of for me, kind of recovering from all the tournament wrestling and all the recordings. I've taken my time. I've been able to enjoy some things in wrestling a bit more just by, watching very periodically, taking some days completely off and so forth. So those who have told me to take care of myself, I have, and I greatly appreciate it. But the 5 star Joshi Show is here, and we are here to get going. Before we break into all the usual stuff here on the podcast, I ask you whether you are watching on YouTube or listening on the Fight Game Media Network feed. I ask you to check out what we have going on over on the feed, which are all the 5 star and Dream Star daily reviews. We have every single day through of the 5 star up to day 9. We'll have 10 and 11 this weekend as the round robin closes out. We'll have another combined review from the Dream Star as they have just 4 tournament matches this week, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. So we'll have one combined one for I believe that'll be day 5 and 6, if I remember correctly. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also have the big Korakuen show from Stardom on Wednesday of next week. So youtube.com/@Scotty Wrestling. If you haven't subscribed already, please go and do so. It does a lot of good. And check out all the videos we're doing. I'm appreciative. But I will say this, I'll kind of give you a sneak peek into what's next. When the 5 star's over, when the Dream Star's over, what's next? I have a lot of plans for some historic watch throughs. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a step back from the modern stuff and dive into history because I'm really intrigued by Joshi history. I'm really enthused by Joshi history. It started last year with the incredible Queen of Villains show, and I also just want to kind of dive back into the Stardom's past. Stardom's past, if you don't know, is really just my favorite thing in wrestling to go back and watch. So I have some plans there. Maybe the return of Stardom Road, if you know my old podcast. So maybe keep an eye out for that. Maybe they'll come back to the channel. You never know. But overall, that's kind of what we got going on here. That's what we're cooking up. But with that being said, let's get to our usual product here on the podcast, starting in the World Wonder Ring. Stardom, obviously in the midst of the 5 star Grand Prix, a massive week ahead. We have the final 2 days of the round robin round, and we will have our playoffs, which are set for Wednesday at Korakuen Hall. My most anticipated show of the entire 5 star is that show. So on this very podcast, we're going to break down everything you need to know regarding the final 2 days and what that Korakuen may, in fact, look like. So, without further ado, let's dive into my top 5 matches from the 5 star through the first 9 days of the tournament. We'll do this a number of times. I'll do a full top 5 when we get to the finals next weekend as well, once the tournament is complete. But so far, these are my top 5 matches. Starting at number 5 from the opening night of the 5 star Grand Prix, it was Sareee versus Konami. This match continues to be one that sits in my brain of the first true great match of this tournament. And obviously, things have picked up since then. I think there's been so much fantastic wrestling since then. I think there's been so many amazing moments since then. But this match still is able to stand the test of time, stand the test of everything else because of the energy surrounding the match, the overall discussion following the match, and just the creativity of the match itself. Obviously, this was the kickoff to, I think, Sareee really embracing being the heel of Stardom, and Konami putting her to sleep on opening night was the biggest shock of the entire tournament. One that really did a lot of good, I think, for intriguing interest for Saree's tournament overall and the 5 star. It's a match that I really do love. I think it's Konami's best match since she's come back in a full-time capacity, and it's one that I highly recommend that if you haven't watched, go and watch it. Number 4 was another Sareee match. You're going to see a pretty good trend here. Sareee versus Hina. Initially, this was, I think, on my honorable mentions when I talked about it last week, but I went back and watched it because it was one of those matches that you just remember. And I think when it comes to wrestling for me, if a match keeps kind of popping in my mind or sticking with me, I'm like, maybe I need to give more appreciation to said match because I really liked it at the time. But obviously, this was in the middle of the double show, right? Because it was the main event of the first show from Tochigi. So I went back and watched it, and my God, it's that much better. You know, the pure heel performance for Sareee against the hometown hero in Hina. Hina has had a fantastic tournament. Hina has had a fantastic year. Her and Rena are, I think, on another level. We'll talk about Rena here in a second because I think Rena has an incredible claim to MVP in this tournament. But Saree's just been nailing the work and nailing being that difficult wrestler you have to overcome in this tournament. It's been a treat to watch, and this was a treat of a match. This was my number 4 match from August 3rd. One of the matches I still think about when I think about this tournament. My next match was from August 6th, Korakuen Hall, the main event, Hanan versus Saya Kamatani. I think this match is the perfect preview for what this world championship match can look like in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it may be. It would be criminal that if in this Saya Kamatani World of Stardom title reign, which I have been on record saying should not end anytime soon, it would be criminal if this match is never run because there was a chemistry here, there was a connection here, and there was a story here to build off of. Ultimately, what this match told you was Hanan is not ready to beat Saya yet. But she showed the heart, she showed the fight, and she showed the ability that one day, maybe she can be. And meanwhile, Saya Kamatani's best match of the tournament as well. Saya Kamatani's big match this weekend could surpass this one, but it's a fantastic main event caliber bout. Saya Kamatani has run Korakuen Hall this year, whether it be the Tam match, the Suzu match, this match, the Carrara match. It's just been her venue. You put her in the main event, she delivers, and this was the same case there. Absolutely love this one, but I don't even think it was the best match on that show because my number 2 match of the tournament, which was my match of the tournament for a little bit there, was none other than Azumi versus Rena. My appreciation for what Rena has become. Rena is my favorite wrestler in Stardom, and she is just getting better and better and better. Rena almost had multiple matches on this list. I just cut off her and Poi in favor of Konami and Sareee just because Konami and Sareee left a more lasting memory, but that match is fantastic as well. This match was for me, kind of again further showing that Rena's ready for anything. Rena's ready for the wonder or the next step because her and Azumi tore it down in Korakuen Hall in the semi-main event, right before Saya and Hanan take the stage. And it's just been Rena showing that she is that good. Rena is one of the best, I think, already on the planet at her young age, and she's only going to get better and better and better. The same goes for Azumi. That's been kind of the trend for Azumi over the past couple of years. And I know some people have been up and down with her, especially this year, but this was a top tier Azumi showcase. I think my favorite match, or at least my favorite singles match for Azumi this year. And Rena just continues to be awesome. And then, of course, my match of the tournament. This is the new edition. This did not happen prior to last week, but it was one of the most anticipated matches. And I think this list will change dramatically this weekend with all the big time matches coming up as well. But my match of the tournament to this point is none other than Suzu Suzuki versus Sareee from the Blue Stars B block at KBS Hall on August 9th. When Saree's block was announced, everyone said Suzu, Momo. Those are the big matches, and they didn't let you down. Suzu Suzuki, I praise Sareee all the time because it's what I do, but I want to give praise to Suzu Suzuki because Suzu Suzuki is someone who should have already been World of Stardom champion. Suzu Suzuki is someone who could be World of Stardom champion tomorrow, Wonder Stardom champion tomorrow. And for a lot of her Stardom run, it's been a bumpy ride, Obviously, in 2022, when she invaded with prominence, she was made a big deal. She was made the face of that invasion, right? Her work with Julia that led through into the 5-star final night with one of the best 5-star GP matches ever isn't forgotten by me. That led to Artists of Stardom Championship matches. That led to her signing with the company in 2023. That led to her winning the 5-star Grand Prix in 2023. And then being denied what I still believe was going to be a World of Stardom Championship reign. But she's kept at it. Obviously, we've talked about this a lot, right? 2024 wasn't her year. It just wasn't. She dealt with injuries. Her tournament last year wasn't memorable, but this year she's reminded the world why she is one of the best on planet Earth. Her match with Saya Kamitani is still one of my favorites of the year. Her match with Mei Sarah is still one of my favorites of the year. And now this match sets the bar of what the best match in the tournament is for me. She brings a whole different character to Stardom that no one else can match. She's a badass. She hits hard. She hits often, and she's just really, really freaking great. She steps in there with Sareee, and she doesn't back down. She welcomes a battle like that. Suzu felt more alive than she often does outside of a death match, right? She loves the death match. We love her in the death match, but this was Suzu at her best again. And Sareee was willing to bring that fight. And for 15 minutes, they destroyed each other. 15 minutes, they crushed it. 15 minutes, they set the bar of what greatness should look like in a tournament setting. Just a fantastic match. Fantastic, fantastic match. Sareee, again, I can't say enough good things about her. I'll say plenty more about her throughout this show because, again, that's how this podcast goes. But this match is my favorite of the tournament. But this weekend should change all of that. So with that being said, let's get into breaking down the 5-star Grand Prix now moving forward. If you want my reviews from the series of matches throughout this tournament, like I said, you can go to youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling. All my reviews from each and every show, match by match, are up there now. So this Saturday, we head to the Yokohama Budokan. The Yokohama Budokan is a signature show in the 5-star Grand Prix. It's kind of like that middle base of major show. Here is your card. You have Hanako versus Konami. Hanako is still fighting for a spot. We'll go over that in a second. You have Miyu Amasaki versus Ruaka. Ruaka is also fighting for a spot. You have Tomoki Naba versus Natsuko Tora. Natsuko Tora is fighting for a spot. You have Natsupoi versus Rian. Natsupoi is fighting for a spot. Now you have Saida versus Aya Sakura. They are no longer fighting for spots in this tournament, but should be a fun match nonetheless. You also have, let me double check. I just want to make sure I have everyone that's eliminated. You then have Hina and Momokogo. Hina is not out of the competition just yet. There is an opportunity for her to sneak in, so that'll be an interesting one as well. You have Suriano versus Yuri Hime. Suriano has already clinched her spot in the Blue Stars A uh, side of things. Now, a win here for Sayoriano could be major. It could be what gives her the number one seed and a bye when we head into the Korakuen on Wednesday. So keep that in mind. Then we have what I think most will agree the most highly anticipated match of the entire tournament and one of the most highly anticipated match of the year. For the first time ever, we will watch Sareee, the Sun God, the best in the world, the IWGP Women's Champion, take on none other than the Black Peach, the former Wonder of Stardom champion, the woman who's more determined than ever to take out Sareee. That is, of course, Momo Watanabe. That match has not only major stakes, major stakes. You know, like a loss is detrimental to Momo Watanabe here. Momo has this match. This is it. If she loses, she's going to be on the outside looking in very likely because the race for Blue Stars B is tight. There is a lot of people still qualified. While she sits at the number one seed, 2 losses in a row have really hurt her. This is a must-win match for Momo Watanabe, or at the very least, a draw. On the other hand, for Sareee, it's almost a must-win match. Now she has Momo Kogo on the final night, so you can kind of beef her up to 9 points already, which should get her in. But we will wait and see there. That match is going to be tremendous. Should be one of the matches of the tournament. And speaking of what should be one of the matches of the tournament, you have Starlight Kid versus Rena, my reigning defending match of the year. Their Wonder of Stardom Championship match from earlier this year remains my match of the year. So to see the rematch here with Rena in a must-win scenario, this is Rena's final match. Obviously, she opened up her tournament 4-0, but has lost the last two. If she wins, she qualifies. I believe that is the official stat. If she wins, she is in. And that's major for Rena. If she loses, she is going to have to hope and pray that somehow, some way, she can get herself into the tournament because she does not wrestle on the final night. You then have Lady C versus Bea Priestley. Bea Priestley needs the win here, but so does Lady C. Lady C's not out of it yet. If Lady C gets a win over B, she's still kind of in it, which is shocking. But hey, good for her. You have Waka Tsukiyama versus Usunaba. This literally has no meaning whatsoever. I think Azusa's actually still in it. So if Azusa wins, she goes to 8 points, which is really strong. That would bring her to second technically as of right now. So this does matter. But Waka is obviously looking for that first win. And then you have, again, one of the most anticipated matches of the tournament for myself. If you were to make me list 5 matches I was most looking forward to, this is one of them. Much like Starlight Kid versus Rena, much like Sareee versus Momo Watanabe. You have Saya Kawatani going one-on-one with Mei Seira. To me, this feels like the ultimate showcase for Mei Seira, proving I can be in the world title picture. It's going to be fantastic. Saya Kamatani's already in. So all she can do is stop Mei Seira from qualifying in the top 3 with a win here. But that is the Yokohama Budokan show on Saturday. Then we, of course, have this match. I want to add a little more to this. Sareee versus Momo Watanabe is everything that the 5-star Grand Prix is supposed to be. It's the type of match that you look at and you get excited for the potential. It's the type of match you look at and you say to yourself, man, I don't know how great this can be, but I know it can be special. And this is the first time in a long time that a good part of me kind of hopes Momo is beating Sareee. I never ever want Sareee to lose matches. But to further the story, to further the potential between these two, a Momo win means an IWGP Women's title match. Momo Watanabe is in one of the all-time great IWGP Women's title matches that happened last year when she challenged Mayu Iwatani at Historic Crossover 2. I think they have all the potential to follow that up with this belt on the line. I think they have all the potential to do that again. if they get the opportunity. A Momo draw, a Momo win, those are going to create the opening for an IWGP Women's title match. I don't think we stop here between these two. I think it would be wrong to stop here between these two. But my hype is as high as can be. It is a show I will be up watching live. I hope you all do too. My review for this will be up on Saturday on the YouTube channel. So if you can't wait for next week when we kind of review the big week ahead, then definitely check those out. Same goes with Mei Seira versus Saya Kamatani. I think when I look at this match and the potential of this match, it's not only match of the tournament type quality. If you give them as close to 15 as possible, it has the potential to be a match of the year type contender. That's what these two matches have, because there is so much here. Mei Seira is an incredible worker. I would probably call her the most underrated performer in all of Stardom. And then on the other side, you have Saya Kamatani. Saya Kamatani is the World of Stardom champion after all. She is the most talked about Joshi wrestler in the world. She's one of the most talked about wrestlers in the world. And she's just simply fantastic. The beauty of where Saya Kamatani is now from a year ago, right when she went into the 5-star Grand Prix trying to figure out who she was as a heel, is that she knows who she is. Saya Kamatani wrestles like Saya Kamatani has long wrestled in her career. She just did a little tweaking. She figured out how to be Saya Kamatani and also be the Phoenix Queen at the same time. It's a fantastic story to follow. It's a fantastic match to be excited for. It is one of the most anticipated matches for me in this tournament. It is your main event. It should be absolutely tremendous in the Yokohama Budokan. But then we look towards Sunday. Sunday has so many crucial matches. Saya Kamatani versus Bea Priestley, very, very, very likely is going to be how Bea Priestley, I think, qualifies for this tournament. I think in a 2-day span, Saya Kamatani is kind of eliminating Mei Seira by beating her, but losing to Bea Priestley in a shock in Hamamatsu. That's what I see happening. That's what I expect to happen. I think that's how B gets in. In terms of Hanan, I think that will just be a point where she just needs to win to officially qualify over Mei Seira. I think that's kind of the crucial spot there. And in terms of Lady C versus Waka Tsukiyama, I see Waka Tsukiyama getting her first and only win in this tournament over Lady C. In the B block for Red Stars, that very well is looking to be a qualifier between Starlight Kid and Natsupoi. Come to the final night. You have Azumi, Natsuko Tora, Rina, Starlight Kid, and Natsupoi all in contention, right? Azumi's looking pretty good. Okay. Azumi heads into the final night against Sayaka Kurara, which kind of feels like it'll be a loss. But Rina, if she doesn't beat Kid, is on the edge. Azumi's ahead of her. Natsuko Tora, if she doesn't beat Tomoki Nawa, she's on the edge. And that would give Rina the advantage. So it's starting to feel like that one of Starlight Kid, Natsupoi, Rina, or Azumi are absolutely going to miss this tournament. That's a guarantee. But which one? I would say Rina should be in based on her performances, based on the future of where they want her to go. Like, that is where I'm at. But I don't know. I don't know because she's not wrestling on the final night. Will they have her watching on camera, hoping? What does Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi look like? Natsupoi should be at 8 points following day 10, which would tie her with both Rina and Natsuko Tora. Tora has the advantage over Natsupoi, Rina has the advantage over Tora, and Natsupoi has the advantage over Rina. So that is a 3-way dance of confusion. It'll become a must-win potentially for Natsupoi. Starlight Kid sits at 7 points. Starlight Kid versus Rina is a crucial match. That could bring Kid to 9 and maybe be the clinch for her, leaving her versus Natsupoi up in the air. In terms of Azumi versus Sayaka Kurara, that looks like the biggest, most guaranteed upset of the entire show. And I think that's maybe how we tell the story of Azumi missing. Right now, she sits at 9 points, but that is not pure protection. I think that's going to be the interesting spot. If you want a big elimination, if you want a big shock on the final night, that's the match to do it. You'd also have Tomoki Naba versus Rihanna. I don't expect that to matter too much by the time it happens, but we'll see. Over on Blue Stars A on the final night, you have Saida versus Yuri Hime. That is a whatever match. You have Miyu Amasaki versus Aya Sakura. Right now, Miyu Amasaki is still technically in. If she pulls off an upset against Ruaka, and then wins this match, she could get to 8, which if Ami Sareee loses and Ruaka loses, then she can be in. I don't expect her to pull off both big wins. Then you have Ami Sareee versus Bozilla. That's where it's all about. If Bozilla wins that match, she is the number 1 seed in Blue Stars A. If Ami Sareee loses that match, there's a very good chance she misses this entire tournament because either Ruaka or Miyu Amasaki can steal that spot. I expect Ami Sareee to get the win there. That would give Sareee the number 1 seed and the bye on her side of the bracket. Then you have Blue Stars B, Sareee versus Momo Kogo. That should be an easy Sareee win, and that's how she should get in. Though they could make it, kind of dramatic. If Sareee loses to Momo Watanabe, she will still be at 7 points. She will then need to win, and we will be down to. It depends on how Hanako versus Konami goes as well, because right now Sareee and Hanako are tied in points. I'll give you my full predictions here in a second of how I expect these seedings to go. You also have Hina versus Hanako on the final night. That feels like a potential big upset as well. We'll see how that all breaks down. Then you have Rana Yagami versus Suzuki, which is very crucial as well. Rana's still in this competition. Suzu's still comfortably in this competition. She has 8 points. She's tied for the top. So let's get to the bracket here. As you can see here are all the stats. Thank you to Peps for this. We've been using this throughout the tournament, but these are all the stats you need. You have all the fields on the left in terms of who's in, who's out, and who still has a chance. I think that's very, very important. Remember, top 3 seeds advance in each tournament, which I think is crucial to all of this. We will see how it all goes down. But with that being said, let's look at this. Let's look at how this breaks down. So you will have a lot of matches on the final night. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The second seed in the B block of blue and red, for example, face the third seed of blue and red. Okay, you get the point. So here are my predictions for how this all goes down. We'll start on the left side. Blue Stars A, number 1 seed. I expect that to be Saori Ano. And with that, I think she will be awaiting the Blue Stars B versus Blue Stars A third. Blue Stars B, who could be second? That is the potential of Momo, Suzu, Hanako, Sareee, Rana, or even Hina. I think Hina might be just third. I don't know. It breaks down. I could see that matchup coming down to being either Ami Sareee. Either Ami Sareee in the number 2 if she beats Bozilla, or Bozilla. It's gonna be one of those two, in my opinion, taking on the Blue Stars A third seed. Oh, sorry. B is So Blue Stars A third is either going to be Ami or Bozilla. I'm thinking that's Bozilla. Then you look at the Blue Stars B side. That could be Momo, Suzu, Sareee. I think this will be Suzu Suzuki. So on the top left, you have Sareee, Suzu, Bozilla. So Bozilla versus Suzu is a very interesting idea. And I think that's kind of how it goes. On the bottom seed, you have the Blue Stars B number 1 seed. I still expect that to be Sareee. So I'm giving her the number 1 seed. She'll be awaiting the number 3 seed, who could be Hanako or Momo or Rana. I think they're going to have Momo miss. No. No, because I think Momo should beat Sareee. It's a difficult one, but I feel like they're going to want Hanako in that spot. because obviously they believe in her a lot. Giving her the 3 seed is very possible, and then the 2 seed in would be Ami Sourei, and that would lead us to a Sareee versus Ami Sourei mix-up. It's possible. It's very, very confusing. But I'll give you just who I expect to be in the semifinals mostly. On the Red Stars A side, that will be Saya Kamatani. Saya Kamatani will be awaiting someone from either Red Stars B or Red Stars A, of course. The third seed of Red Stars A, I expect to be none other than Bea Priestley. I think based on how it all breaks down, I think B or Hanum will be one of those two. And then the Red Stars B side of things, who's expected to be number 2? That's the real toss up. I really have no clue. I really don't. Then on the Red Star, and then the bottom side, Red Stars B1. I really don't know. I think Starlight Kid has as good a shot as any. You know, she could beat Natsupoi and Rina and just finish really strong, and I wouldn't rule that out. Have Starlight Kid move on, and then maybe get upset by a Natsupoi again. You know, maybe they have that face off, or a Hanan. I could see Starlight Kid versus Hanan be that the quarterfinal match. I think ultimately my prediction here for the semifinals will be on the blue side of things. I think that is going to be I think Ami Sareee is getting there. However, whichever side she goes, I think she could beat Sareee at the Korakuen. Or this is someone they're very high on. This is someone they're very behind, and they have been for a long time. I think she's getting there, and I think Hanan's getting in on the other side. And I think we're getting an Ami Sareee Hanan final with Ami Sareee winning the tournament and challenging Saya Kamatani 2 weeks later at the Yokohama show that is planned, that I cannot remember the name of the name of the show off the top of my head. But that's where I'm at. It is as confusing as possible. I'm sorry for confusing you. But there's just so much unsure still. But I love this aspect. I think this show right here is going to be the show of the entire tournament. And I just can't wait. So we'll see when we get there. But I'm excited. I hope you are too. We'll be reviewing those, of course, daily reviews, but we'll also be talking about it next week right here on the 5-Star Joshi Show. Speaking of brackets, TJPW has the Tokyo Princess Cup tournament going on. Obviously, I have not been covering it throughout. There's been a lot going on. So I said, you know what? I'll wait till the semifinals to really lock in myself, because I just am following 2 tournaments at once. 3 would have been a lot more. But we are down to the final 4, and this is really where it kicks in. So this Sunday, the final 4 are facing off. It'll be Shoko Nakajima versus Miyu Watanabe on one side, and then Yuki Arai versus Arisu Endo on the other. That was a pleasant surprise to learn. If I had to give a prediction of my final, I'm going to go with Shoko Nakajima versus Arisu Endo. Arisu Endo gets the big time lift of making it to the finals. Yuki Arai just had the Princess of Princess championship match at Summer Sun Princess. I think it would be a shocker to put her right back into the final. I think at the same time, TJPW is looking to maybe go with the big one of their pillars in Shoko Nakajima, bringing Shoko to the final and facing Arisu Endo and defeating Arisu Endo. I'm picking Shoko Nakajima to win this entire tournament. Miyu Watanabe or Arisu Endo would be my preferred final, but that's where I'm going with that. We'll review that next week and then preview the finals as well. But obviously, I haven't watched the full tournament, but I think these final 4 is very intriguing. My preferred pick would be Arisu Endo winning. That would be an incredible sign of trust and sign of belief in someone that I think deserves that sign of belief. But we'll see when we get there. I'm intrigued by how both matches go this Sunday. Now let's talk about Marvelous. Marvelous had their Korakuen Hall show this past Friday. And we're going to talk about the top two matches. As once again, for the first time in quite some time, it feels like, we had a Marvelous versus Marigold match. Marvelous versus Marigold has been, the most outstanding continuous feud of the year. Each and every show, each and every match, anytime they collide, there's something to write home about. And after the Takumi Iroha versus Tommy Hayashishita match, I think it became kind of cloudy of what's next. Where do we go next? When is next? Right? Obviously, Senka Akatsuki was supposed to be in the Dream Star Grand Prix, but due to pneumonia, she had to be taken out of the tournament. So I think that played a part in kind of maybe the calming of the feud, because Maria doesn't bring the same I want to fight everyone energy that Senka does. So her involvement in the Dream Star, while it's been limited just one night so far, I don't think carries the same level to push that feud forward as much. That being said, there's a very easy way to kick things back up, and we saw it right here in the Marvelous versus Marigold match at the Korakuen Hall show. I tell you now, a lot of this is going to be me singing the praises of Mio Momono. But before we get to the Mio Momono aspect, this match opened up with Sareee Yamaoka, the super rookie, taking on Sora Ayame. Originally supposed to be Senka Akatsuki. Boy, oh boy, would that have been interesting if it had gone a different way and Senka was able to wrestle. Senka was at this show, though. She did get in Saree's face after the match was over, so she did her job no matter what. But this was a fine opening fall. So for what it's worth, if you haven't watched it, it follows the same rules as the Marvelous versus Marigold Korakuen 5v5 elimination match from earlier this year, which is one of my favorite matches of the year. So I was very excited to learn that this was following the same rules. Sareee Yamaoka, unsurprisingly, was able to pin Sora Ayame to eliminate her and give the advantage to Marigold moving forward. From there, Maria stepped into the ring, and they kind of, I think, built a good tease for what that match will look like. And when I say that is, those two will collide at Shinjuku face in a few weeks' time in the Dream Star Grand Prix. And I think they gave me enough belief of that match can be quite good. One of the maybe the under the radar type match that could be really, really good in that tournament. But it was Maria who was managed to make Sareee Yamaoka tap out. So Sareee Yamaoka, despite obviously the super rookie status and her limited time losing, already having the match with Sora took a lot out of her, and then Maria absolutely attacked her there. From there, Maria was then faced with Miku Aono. Marvelous was not, Marigold was not kidding around. I think that's the beauty of how this match was built up. They sent out the heavy hitters early. Kamau Minami was left to be the last wrestler representing Marigold because they wanted to put an end to this early. That's why they sent the world champion. That's why they sent one of the Dream Star favorites. That's why they sent their former Superfly champion, their super rookie, right? They sent as many strong wrestlers as they could. They wanted to put an end to this and get Marigold back on track in this rivalry. I think that's kind of the beautiful story point of a match like this, is watching how it unfolds and seeing the story of the psychology behind why we're doing this and why we're doing that, and why it makes so much sense and why it ends up being so much better because of how they told that story. So Miku Ano comes out, she eliminates Maria. Miku Ano then takes on Ihozan. I thought they had a really good back and forth. Like, Ihozan deserves some love. Ihozan's a very good wrestler. Okay. Ihozan deserves that love. I think she's had herself a good solid year, but she's eliminated by Miku Ano. Again, enough is enough. Miku Ano rolling through these two, and that's when we get the big rematch. So Marvelous is down to 2, while Marigold has 4 strong at this point. So that brings us to Miku Ano versus Riko Kawahara, a rematch from the last time. That was the best part of the last elimination time we had. So it was no shock that these two had a really, really great back and forth affair once again. And once again, they could not find a finish between the two. These two kicked the hell out of each other. They beat the hell out of each other. Their history, pushing them on, pushing them forward, and ultimately eliminating them both, leaving Marvelous down to 1. Mio Momono versus the world. And that's where this match goes from good to great. If you've listened to the 5-Star Joshi Show since the very beginning, there is no one in podcast form that has sang the praises of Mio Momono longer and more enthusiastically than I have. Mio Momono, when she gets the opportunity, is one of the very best in the world. She's a top 5 best in the world caliber wrestler, and she ain't 5. Mio Momono representing Marvelous in a singles capacity is as great of a wrestler as you can find, as she carries the flag out there representing her brand to face Victoria Izuki 1 versus 3, including the Marigold World Champion. She doesn't back down, she steps up. Mio Momono's performance in this match is one of my favorite performances of the entire year in professional wrestling. It is a reminder of not only how great Mio Momono is, but how much more Mio Momono deserves. She in this match embodied what an ace is. She was the ace of Marvelous. She wore Marvelous on her sleeve every step of the way in fighting Marigold and trying to take them down. They had 3 wrestlers left. And I think the beauty of how do we send these wrestlers forward was the best story, right? For Marvelous, it was Mio Momo's got to be the last point. She's got to be the one that defends this once and for all. But when you eliminate everyone, it's 1 versus 3. How much can she really take? And that creates the idea, okay, we're going to send Victoria Izuki out there, right? She's going to take care of business. Nay. These two wrestled for albeit like 2 or 3 minutes, and it was fantastic, changing exchanges, right? The desperation is being sold by Mio Momono, and she shocks everyone and pins Victoria Izuki within minutes to eliminate her and bring it down to 2-1. It was a fantastic start, and it made you think, oh, so that means, they'll send out Kamo Manami. No. The beauty of the story of this match and how Marigold treated is like we don't want to get it to final fall. Let's send out the Marigold World Champion. Tommy Hayashishita with the championship walks out there face to face with Mio Momono for the first time ever. And my God, I don't have the exact amount of time they wrestled for, but for the 9 nearish minutes that they did, they had what would have been my favorite tournament match. If it was a tournament match, because it fits in that time constraint. Mio Momono and Utami were perfect against each other. It felt like I watched Utami find a new all-time rival. Utami has some great rivals, and shout out to her and Saya Kamatani, both celebrating their anniversaries this week. But I thought about it as I watched Mio and Utami go. I said, man, this should be a world title match. This should be someone Utami defends against, because there was instant chemistry here. This was Utami's best singles performance of the year. She was bumping like crazy, but also felt powerful and dominant in many ways against a underdog ace performance in Mio Momono, who knows if the time runs out, my team loses, because there's one wrestler left, right? They're wrestling to the final fall. Every little bit is amazing. Mio Momono is wrestling a perfect match. She takes a German suplex after being caught by Utami, takes it on her head, gets up, laughs it off, and plants Utami 3 times with German suplexes. Mio Momono was wrestling as perfect of a match as you could as an underdog fighting for your life until she got caught. There was a point where she gets caught going for her sunset power bomb, which is her finisher, and Utami plants her. She catches her, hits her with the BT bomb, and that is it. A fantastic back and forth. Utami, Mio Momono, please, 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 please. Whenever that match with Mayu Utami happens, I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the most incredible matches of the year because Mio Momono has every bit of all-time ability that she's always had. And this was the perfect showcase of that. A fantastic performance in defeat in the Marvelous Korakuen. Utami was on the top of her game. Mio Momo was at the top of her game. This match was fantastic. Go out of your way to check out the latest chapter in Marvelous versus Marigold. You will not be upset. It just lived up to the hype once again. Then you had the main event. Like the crazy thing was that wasn't the main event. Instead, you had Spark Rush versus Team 200 kilograms AAAW championship match, and my golly, was it awesome! It shouldn't shock you that it was awesome. It's Sareee, it's Takumi Iroha, Shiro Hashimoto, it's you. I mean, duh. Of course, it was awesome. For 30 minutes, surprise, surprise, they went to a draw. For 30 minutes, these two teams destroyed one another. These two teams fought one another. These two teams fought and fought and fought. And I think the beauty of watching Spark Rush matches right now is that you're seeing them grow as a duo. You know, these are two of the best wrestlers on the planet. Sareee is the best wrestler on the planet. Takumi is the GHC Women's Champion, the AAAW. You know, like they have all the success, they have all the accolades, but now they're becoming a super duo, right? Obviously, the power of them and winning the belts and all these things is pretty super as is, but you're still watching them learn how to work together. And I think that's fascinating. And they're doing so against probably the tag team or one of the top 3 tag teams in Joshi of the past, however long, 5 years, right? And they're in there acting like they've been teaming for years as well. A fantastic back and forth. Anytime you get to see Sareee and Hashimoto share the ring, it is a treat. It is an absolute treat. I thought Yu was excellent in this match. I thought Takumi was excellent in this match. In the clothing straps, which is down to Takumi Iroha and Shiro Hashimoto. Back and forth they go. Takumi catches Hash with this incredible like kick where it felt like she just shot it out of a cannon almost and absolutely drilled Hash in the side of the head. It was picture perfect. Hashimoto hits a big German, big all bright style German in the end, but that's when the time runs out. These two teams went at it for 30 minutes. They put on one hell of a show, one hell of a great main event. These top 2 matches on this Marvelous Korakuen are must see matches. A fantastic tag match here, a fantastic continuation of a feud on the other, and just kind of the beauty of what Marvelous is doing this year. And before we move on from Marvelous, it's worth noting they did announce that next year they're heading to the Yokohama Buntai. For those who don't know what that is the show Stardom did All-Star Grand Queenum in last year. That's a big building. I believe they're doing it in May. So plenty of time for Marvelous to build that up. We'll see what big matches they put together. But it is worth noting, Takumi did bring up the idea of facing Sareee. So maybe that is where all this Spark Rush stuff leads to next year. I just want to note that this weekend, Oz Academy returns to Korakuen Hall with two big-time matches. I always like to point out when Hazuki's got a singles match going on. Hazuki will go one-on-one with Akino in what I think is the semi-main event of the show, but it should be a great match. Hard-hitting styles, hard-hitting wrestlers. I can't see this being anything besides really, really good at the very least. And then you have your main event. It will be Saori Anou defending the Oz Academy title against Kekuro Sekaguchi and Mayumi Ozaki. So it's an Ozuki-gun face-off, all 3 of them colliding, all 3 of them facing off. Should be a fascinating match to see how it's told. I'm intrigued by it, though. I am certainly intrigued by it. I've been really loving Saori's work, especially as of late. So I'll be tuning into this, and you should be too. We talk about that next week on the show. Next Friday, so I wanted to get this preview in now because it'll be late by the time we do it next week. But next Friday, SEAdLINNNG celebrates their anniversary, their 10th anniversary at Korakuen Hall as well. They'll be doing so with a big time tag title match, or not tag title match, a big time tag team match featuring many of the most important wrestlers throughout its history. Sareee, Takumi Iroha, Ryu Mizunami, and Veni team up on one side. They'll take on Nagisa Nozaki, Miyuki Takase, Amazon, and Rina Yamashita on the other. That should be a fun one. Then the main event will be a Beyond the Sea Championship as Makoto defends the belt for the first time since winning it from Veni. She'll defend against Hiroyo Matsumoto. So that should be a fun, hard-hitting main event. Shout out to SEAdLINNNG. They're kind of rebuilding right now, obviously, following the retirement last year on this very show of Arisa Nakajima. But they have a lot of rookies. They have a lot of young talent. So I think it's definitely a show worth checking out. I know BMI 2000, Natsuko Tora will also be on the show. They'll be facing Honori Hana and Unagi Sayaka. So definitely give them a look. Give SEAdLINNNG a look. They deserve the attention, especially as they celebrate 10 years as a promotion. Now we dive into Marigold. We'll kick this off with my top 3 matches of the tournament thus far, which is always a fun thing. Then we'll kind of go over some more and the upcoming weekend. We're right in the middle of this tournament. I think it's worth noting, if you're not tuned into the Dream Star yet, because you're dealing with a 5-star, maybe you're watching the G1, you're like, too many tournaments. This tournament really dials up once the 5-star is over. On the 30th at Korakuen Hall, that'll be their next big show. You got Utami versus Mayu there, as kind of the big signature match that you're going to really want to check out. But you also have Mai Sakurai versus Mirai, which will be a big one. Miku Ano versus Chen Yoda, Victoria Yuzuki versus Maria. Certain matches like that are going to be big time. So if you're waiting to jump in, I get it. But here's some of the matches I think you should check out because these are my top 3 thus far. Number 3? Oh, I did 4 matches. All right, my top 4 matches. My apologies. My number 4 match was Victoria Yuzuki versus Sareee Amioka. This was the main event from the Sendai Pit show on the 10th. These two are awesome. Every time I watch these two, I'm just amazed at how good they are. I sing the praises of Sareee Amioka as much as anyone, and I think it's because she's incredible. I don't know if I even need to sing the praises of Victoria Yuzuki anymore. I think everyone's kind of established she is, but I'm going to keep doing that anyways too. These two are the future, right? These two are the future, the present, the future of Marigold. Every time they face off is important. Every time they face off is better. One day they're going to be main eventing one of the major shows for this promotion. So enjoy it while you can when it's in the Sendai Pit. But I thought this match was really good, and Yuzuki got the big win over Sareee Amioka, so that gives her the advantage in their rivalry. My number 3 match comes from the opening night on the first show main event, Utami Hayashishita versus Victoria Yuzuki. Yes, Victoria Yuzuki once again. This match was great. Victoria Yuzuki beating the world champion in a major shocker to really kick things off. This was a great Utami performance as well. She was selling a ton for Victoria Yuzuki and really helped put Victoria Yuzuki over in a major way. I think when it comes to Yuzuki, it's very clear there was a lot of belief in her. There's a lot of trust in her to get ready and take the baton and run with it right now. In terms of Utami, I think she's having a fun tournament as well. And, with the Mio Momono match that I just talked about, it's a good run going for her. This is my number 3 match thus far. My number 2 match in the Dream Star Grand Prix is none other than Mai Sakurai versus Chen Yoda, also from the opening night of the Dream Star Grand Prix, the semi-main event of the first show. These two just have fantastic chemistry. This was probably the best singles match of Chen Yoda's career. Just a fantastic performance out of her. Mai Sakurai continues to make strides that, again, none of us maybe could have ever imagined. But she's been a fantastic champion. She's been a fantastic part of Marigold. She helped lead Chen Yoda to what was an amazing upset as Chen Yoda pinned the United National Champion, pinned her tag team partner. So I thought that was just an incredibly well done match. And really, the moment of her getting the big win was truly, truly superb. So that's my number 2 match of the tournament. And my number 1, this will not shock anyone, but from the second show of the opening night, the main event, Mayu Iwatani versus Sareee Yamaoka for the first time ever. I don't know if you can get a better story in a match than we've had so far than this one. Mayu overwhelming Sareee Yamaoka in many ways throughout the match and punishing her in many ways and trying to see what do you got? What do you have in you? Can you overcome my onslaught? Can you overcome the icon? The icon who at the time was undefeated in singles competition. But the explosiveness, the raw potential of Sareee Yamaoka was not only able to fight back, but come back all the way. She hit 3 massive, shocking, devastating German suplexes on Mayu Iwatani to close out the match before getting the Oki clutch and pinning Mayu to be Mayu's first loss in Marigold. It was a hell of a moment, an incredible moment, and it was the match that really set the bar for where to go in this tournament. A fantastic main event, the start of Sareee Yamaoka truly, truly being a massive, massive star, and Mayu Iwatani being Mayu Iwatani. That's what she does. That's the greatest of all time, after all. But this match was terrific. Right now, my match of the tournament. So, for those wondering, here is the field for the tournament thus far. In the Dream League, you have Victoria Yuzuki standing atop with 6 points. Mayu Iwatani, Sareee Yamaoka, and Utami all have 4 points apiece, while Chiaki, Koki Amare, and Maria all have 2 apiece. Ria Seto sits at the bottom with 0. Worth noting, Ria Seto was a last-second addition to the tournament, obviously, for Seika Akatsuki. So that plays a big part as well. In the Star League, you have Misa Matsui surprisingly standing at the top. She's already through 4 of her matches. She's only got 3 remaining, but she's got 6 points, while Chen Yoda, Mai Sakurai, and Nagisa Nozaki also with 4. Mirai at 3, Chika Goto at 2. Miku Ano, shockingly at 1, but she's only had her 2 matches on opening day. She's not back in action again until the Cork and Hall show. Then you have Kazuna Tanaka sitting at the bottom with 0. Take a look now at the upcoming weekend for Marigold. Starting on the 16th, we'll have 2 big-time tournament matches, 2 of the bigger tournament matches, I'd argue, prior to the Cork, and probably the 2 biggest, quite frankly. So this show will be a multi-match show. So first off, you have Komo Minami versus Yuka Yamazaki to open the show. Mayu Iwatani will team with Victoria Yuzuki and Shino to take on Nao Shikawa, Hummingbird, and Megaton. Chika Goto, Yuki Minami, and Nagisa Tachibana team up. They'll take on Darkness Revolutions, Misa Matsui, Chiaki, and Ria Seto. And then here you have the Star League matchup, Mirai versus Nozaki. This was a final night matchup from last year's Dream Star tournament that officially eliminated Mirai from contention, which was a big deal at the time. These two have obviously had their moments throughout the past couple of months. Nozaki is taking a liking very clearly to Mirai, so I'm fascinated to see how this match unfolds. It should be a really, really good one. Potentially Nozaki's best match of the tournament. And then the first ever face-off between the world champion and the super rookie, the former super rookie versus the new super rookie. In many ways, you're watching Sareee Yamaoka follow a similar path to that of Utami Hayashishita when she debuted 7 years ago. Well, the Marigold world champion will go on one-on-one with Sareee Yamaoka for the first time ever here on this show in Chiba. It is one of the signature matches, I think, of the entire tournament, and it's a match that I cannot wait to watch and review right here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. This review will be up on Sunday because it will be a double feature, as this show will be recorded and then it will be dropped right before the live show on Sunday. We'll get those back to back combined for a day 5 and 6 review. And then your main event will not be either tournament match, as it's the homecoming for Mai Sakurai, as she will team with none other than Maya Yukihi to take on Miku Ano and Koki Amare. So a fascinating homecoming match, a really cool homecoming match for Mai Sakurai. And by the way, none other than Hameka, formerly of Donna Del Mondo, will also be in attendance for the show, which is really cool as well. So something to look forward to there. Lots of fun this weekend in Marigold. Then on the 17th, you'll have two more tournament matches, I should say. And those begin with none other than Mai Sakurai versus Kazuna Tanaka, as well as Maria versus Rhea Seto. Both matches take place in Tokyo at the Shibuya Ward Sports Center. So, two matches to look forward to there if you're interested. The rest of the card looks as followed. You'll have Hummingbird and Naoshikawa versus Yuki Yamazaki and Issei Tachibana. You have Mikuano and Megaton versus Misa Matsui and Chiaki. In the semi-main event, you'll have Koki Amari and Mirai versus Chika Goto and Yuki Minami. And then a very exciting main event will be as followed. You'll have Utami Hayashishita, Victoria Yuzuki, and Kamomo Minami take on Mayu Iwatani, Sareee Yamaoka, and Shino. So the future on full display with the top two stars in the company captaining those teams. That should be a fun show as well. And they'll be live on Wrestle Universe. And then finally on Friday, so next Friday, I won't be able to really preview this, but I'll just bring it up now. Friday will be the last show before the Korakuen Hall show, so they'll get over a week to chill out and relax. This will be the homecoming show for none other than Chika Goto. So the opening match will feature Naoshikawa versus Hummingbird versus Nagisa Tachibana. Then you'll have Mai Sakurai teaming with Sareee Yamaoka and Yuki Minami to take on Mirai, Kominami, and Yuki Yamazaki. You'll have Mikuano, Megaton, and Kazuna Tanaka taking on Darkness Revolution. Then in your two tournament matches on the show, you'll have Koki Amare versus Victoria Yuzuki and Utami Hayashishita versus Maria. And in your main event, in Chika Goto's homecoming match, the long-awaited match, will be none other than Chika Goto going one-on-one with Mayu Iwatani for the first time ever. I can't wait for that one. But that is all this week on the Five Star Joshi Show. We got an hour in. Don't you worry. Hopefully you're all excited for the next steps in the tournament, the big week ahead for the 5-Star Grand Prix, the continuation of the Dream Star. Hopefully you check out those Marvel shows. If you haven't, check out Oz Academy, check out TJPW, check out SEAdLINNNG. Keep giving all the love to Joshi. Joshi keeps running crazy. We'll also talk next week about whoever is representing Stardom at Forbidden Door, because there will be one representation at least, which should be a lot of fun. But with so much going on, with so much excitement, it's the best time of the year to be locked into the world of Joshi. Tournaments keep rolling on. Please, please, please enjoy it. Enjoy every bit. I ask you one more time, if you haven't, check out the YouTube channel. We'll be reviewing each and every one of these daily shows, these daily tournaments. So this upcoming week, we have 3 5-Star Grand Prix reviews coming on the YouTube channel and 1 Dream Star for both days this upcoming weekend. So please check all that out. But that's it from me. Thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for reaching out. I've had some people reach out, make sure I'm doing well. I appreciate that. I'm doing great now. Took some time away from social media and wrestling for a whole, refresh myself, and now I'm pumped for this next stretch of, next couple months really. But we have a lot in the tank. We have a lot of thoughts coming up, so I hope you're all excited for that. So with that being said, I bid you all adieu. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, so long, everybody. Bye-bye.